We're back on the channel today with some more one-on-one male grappling. Today we're doing some no-gi and my partner is Spoufy. He's a purple belt and he's been at the gym for a while now. Let's see how he does against me in today's roll. Before anything crazy happens in this roll, I want to point two things out. One, I'm looking fresh because I got a new haircut. That's always good. And two, my face has no blemishes at this point. Later in the roll, I do get a little bit of a cut under my eye and the roll starts to turn up just a little bit. I don't blame my partner for that. I just want to point that out to the viewers. We are currently in side control position and I got here because I hit a nice single leg earlier on CORY and I went through the backside to get to this spot. I'm hitting reverse side control because I prefer this spot for when I want to look for guillotines. I start to wrap up a guillotine on CORY, but this isn't a full-fledged guillotine. This is mostly just so I can keep him moving. With this guillotine, I go straight into mount so I can see what he's going to do. Naturally, I look for another guillotine. There's no better submission that you can hit. I mean, it's literally in every position, so you may as well attempt it from mount. I go one arm with this choke and I post my hand across the mat so I can get a tight squeeze and I finish the nice one-arm guillotine. Now going into the next part of this roll, this is where you're going to see the blemish start to happen. Once we readjust and start the positions over again, I immediately let him work on his own arm drag and I do this weird roll so I can get something happening. However, I get clogged in the face with a knee. You couldn't see it on the camera, but you will see my reaction to it later when I start checking my own face. I hit a head and arm position on him and I use it to sweep him. Once I get this head and arm sweep, I'm going directly into side control because I'm going to finish this choke no matter what. Once I get a little blemish on me, I can't stop but go hard. Here's a quick tip on finishing the arm triangle. You don't have to focus so much on your own grips, you really have to focus on putting your head on the mat. Putting your head on the mat allows you to scoop their arm so you can shove it right into their artery. I had so much excess time because I scooped it so nicely that I could even check my eye and see what was going on. I didn't even need to lock up the second hand for the grip, I just needed to shove his arm into his own neck so tightly and use some head pressure to get the tap. As we begin this next roll, Spoufy looks for the arm drag once again. As soon as this arm drag is hit on me, I immediately roll through. I've always done this because I love to scramble and it's my best move. As weird as that sounds to say scrambling is my best technique, it really is. It allows me to get so many good positions and I was using it here to get to this front head so I can take us back. With that being said, I don't think scrambling is for everybody. You really need to have a lot of speed on you and you should have a lot of grappling experience so you're aware of every position that you're going for. When you're newer to the sport, try and focus on positions that make sense before you start initiating a ton of scrambles. I use the scramble to take Spoufy's back and it's worked out great for me, but I also have a lot of Jiu Jitsu experience as well as wrestling experience. Getting back into the position, I have one hook on Spoufy, but I'm not looking to take his back. I'm looking to apply pressure to him instead. Applying pressure is a great way to open submissions on your opponent because they are always thinking about trying to get you off of them. Spoufy rolled to his back and he's trying to get me off, but he left his arm exposed, so I again lock up the arm triangle. It's not as tight because I'm still in his half guard, so I do have to use my grips and create a nice gable grip on him, but I know that if I can squeeze and pull, switching between grips, I'm going to get the tap anyway. Now for my question of the day, I want to know if you prefer rolling in gi or no gi. If you answered no gi, you obviously have the correct answer, but I respect everyone's opinion even when it's wrong. As we restart the roll, Spoufy decides to start on bottom because he doesn't want me to roll over him. I start to apply some pressure and stay on top. I'm having good head positioning here. I want my head close to his chin so I can keep him flat, and I work my knee cut across his guard so I can start to pass over. Once I'm able to free my leg, I trap his arm immediately with my own leg and I have an underhook on the other side. This leaves guillotines open because their arms are both trapped. I must have gotten over the blemish on my face a little bit because I start to feel merciful and I let go of the guillotine and instead I start working towards a KIMURA. When I'm going for the KIMURA, I'm usually trying to work on new techniques, but I know I'm not going to get this move as much on other people because most people are larger than me. I start to rip towards his arms and get his arm free, and I realize it's going to be a little bit more difficult than I first anticipated, so I switch to a prison rip. A prison rip is a compression lock. I'll have to talk about it later in the video, but it mostly means you have one elbow on the outside and you're trying to squeeze everything together. It really doesn't feel great. Spoufy does a nice job defending the compression lock, however. He has nice posture, which makes it more difficult to finish. So I go back to a regular KIMURA, but he puts his hand on the inside of his thigh. By putting his hand on the inside of his thigh, it's going to be harder to rip out the KIMURA, and I start to bail on this technique. I don't necessarily need the KIMURA, I just want to try and get some new submissions for the channel. He goes to his knees and I take his back and I start to hop around him deciding what I want to do. Spoufy must have some great intuition because I start to set up a massive oil check on him, and as soon as I go for this, he rolls to his back so he doesn't have to face that in the YouTube video. As we have seen in 100 other of my videos, I pass this guard by first working on this guillotine. The guillotine allows me to hop over the guard, and then once I pass this guard, I can start applying some wonderful pressure with the choke. In addition to the choke, I also have an underhook on the other side. You can't really see it perfectly right now, but I have one arm under his throat and then my hands connect so I can start working this guillotine and get the tap again. Now here's a key thing to notice. After I get all these submissions, I always have a nice smile on my face. I just love choking out another human, so there's nothing better than getting that guillotine on someone. Spoufy starts setting up an arm drag on me and he's really trying to pull it, so what I do this time, instead of rolling through, I just hop around his guard with this nice guillotine grip. However, instead of going into side control, he tries to roll into me, so I instead reverse it and I go right into mount. This does bring us to the end of the video, so if you appreciate the video, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.